is Paige, 28 years old. I started dating my husband Richard when we were college students, and we got married 3 years ago. When he proposed, he didn't get me 100 roses, but instead, he handed me 100 puddings. I still remember that. When I opened up the fridge, they were all packed in there. A massive amount of pudding. It really made me laugh. I always put my all into work, and I wasn't planning on getting married anytime soon, but the moment I saw that, I realized that I would be able to live every day happily and enjoy my life with this person. Nowadays, we built a house next to my parents' home, and every now and then we catch up with my parents, and I live a really peaceful life. I also thought it might be early to buy a house together, but I do want kids soon too. I wanted our child to be able to grow up in a big home. My mom and dad also loved Richard, and multiple times a week, we go over to their house and have dinner together. That reminds me, my work is remote, and right now, Richard is taking a break from work due to some reasons. I had an older brother named Paul who was 30 years old, and he's handsome, and there are no complaints about his personality either. He's really reliable. Everybody likes him, and he is a really great guy. Right now, he is a manager for a chain of pubs. Paul is really popular with his employees, and from the part-time employees. I love my big brother Paul. But there was just one thing that troubled me about Paul. He's just a little bit too popular with the ladies. And it would be nice if everybody that tries to approach him was a good person. But of course, there are times it doesn't go that way. And up until now, I've had to kick out a lot of girls. For some reason, they become jealous of me, the little sister. And something that was so unforgivable happened that I can't even talk about it here. But of course, I made sure to get revenge. But then, one day, Paul told me out of nowhere that there was something he needed to talk about, and he asked my husband and I to meet him at the family house. This is rare. Whenever he comes over to the family house, he always lets us know in advance. We were surprised, but we headed toward my parents' house. "I'm home! What's the matter?" What? When I opened up the living room door, there was a woman sitting there that I had never seen before. Don't tell me. Not again!
Oh, Paige! Long time no see.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't tell me that he's about to say that this person is his fiancé and...
Let me introduce you. This is Melissa. She's the person I want to marry.
Ugh, I knew it. Nice to meet you. I'm Melissa. As she said that, Melissa smiled. Just 3 months ago, I had kicked out a woman who tried to commit a marriage scam and approached my brother. Well then, why don't we do a little bit of research first? From there, she was talking with everybody, but she was thoughtful, and she would bring up topics of conversation that were easy for everybody to talk about. She really was such a good person that I almost felt bad for being suspicious of her. But the only thing that bothered me was that the time since they met to saying they wanted to get married was quite short. Well, everybody has their own way of doing things, but still, I couldn't help but to be worried. Even though it might not be a place for a little sister to say anything, because I do love my brother, I just don't want him to be sad. Apparently, it's about to be 2 months since they began dating, but is he really going to get married to someone that he's only known for 2 months? And also, because Melissa is going to be turning 35 years old and is saying she wants to get married soon, does that mean they're rushing to get married? I couldn't help but to be worried. As I was thinking that, and I was staying quiet, Paul continued to say this.
In 3 months, it's gonna be Melissa's birthday. So on the day before that, we want to have our wedding.
It's always been my dream to wear a wedding dress before I turn 35 years old. Apparently, she said that she wants to submit the marriage certificate on the day of her birthday, so it'll be after the wedding ceremony.
Don't worry, I'm gonna turn your dream into reality.
I'm so happy! The two of them were in their own world and seemed really happy with each other. Even though there was a part of me that was bothered by something I couldn't put my finger on at the time, the only thing I could do was to just stay silent. This is the person that Paul chose, so I guess I can just keep an eye on it for now. It seemed like my parents already really liked Melissa, and the two of them were thinking together about what relatives to introduce her to and who to invite to the wedding. From there, she would come over to the family house and we would all get together, and Richard and I and my parents got involved. The preparations for the wedding moved forward, and before we knew it, 3 months had passed. During that time, I never thought of Melissa as being suspicious or sensing anything strange, so I had completely forgotten about that little something that bothered me back then. And then, the day of the wedding, Richard and I left the house early so that we would have plenty of time to get there. Even though we met Melissa a number of times after that first day, she seemed like a good person, and in that moment, I was relieved that somebody so great was going to become Paul's wife. It was a long journey. Finally, it means my job is over. I had such deep feelings about it, and we headed toward the wedding venue. When we got to the reception and I showed them my invitation, the venue staff seemed troubled as he kept looking between my invitation and the guest list. Huh? What's going on? Is there something wrong? But then, the venue staff started talking like he was scared, but I was shocked at what he said next.
I'm aware that this is terribly rude. However, I'm unable to find your name anywhere on the list, and...
Huh? No. There's no way. There's no way that would be the case. I'm a little sister of the groom. I received the invitation by hand. What do you mean there's no seat for me?
However...
There must be some kind of mistake. Please let me confirm. When the hotel person showed me the seating arrangement, there's no seat for us. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Richard and I looked at each other, and we were completely lost. The wedding venue staff said that he was going to go and confirm once again, and as he disappeared to the back. But then, I heard a woman's voice from behind us. Oh my, what's the matter? What's the commotion over here? It was Melissa, before she got into her wedding dress, and she was talking to us. It seems there's been some kind of mistake, and... As I started to speak like that to Melissa, she put on the same kind smile as usual, and then she turned to me and said the most unbelievable words next. Oh my, if there's no seat for you, then why don't you leave? There's nowhere for you to sit, so you should just leave. Huh? What is that supposed to mean? Please explain. I couldn't understand it, and without thinking, I let out a large voice. But then, Melissa put on a face like this was such a chore, and she let out a big sigh. Well then, let me explain it to you. I went out of my way to call the hotel yesterday, and I made sure they took away your seat. But why would you do that? But then, Melissa started laughing. You people, you're unemployed, aren't you? Huh? And that's why you people are always at home, and you're not going to work, right? No, that's actually... And I already asked Paul about it, so there's no use in hiding it. He said it's true, that you don't go out to work, which means it's the truth. Even though you're a grown adult and you're a married couple, you're just mooching off your parents, right? That's not it. I actually work remote. And for people like that, even if they're in-laws, the fact that they're going to become my brother-in-law and sister-in-law is too embarrassing. I'm pretty sure I told her previously that I work from home and that my husband was taking a break from work due to a certain reason, but it seems like this person thinks that there's no way I could be working from home. My husband and I looked at each other, not sure of how to explain it to her. How do we explain remote work to somebody that can only believe that remote work means mooching off of parents and being unemployed? What kind of explanation do I have to give so that she can understand? But then, seeing the two of us like this, Melissa then continued to say something even more unbelievable. Also, let me let you in on a little secret, but the reason why I'm getting married to Paul isn't because I like him or anything like that, you know? Huh? Melissa was grinning, and then she said this on top of that. He was just a good catch. That's all. He's handsome, and he's nice, and he's naive, and he listens to whatever I say. He's useful, and I can brag about him. and he works like a normal person, so he passes as an ATM. Well, when I look at him as a man, he's kind of boring, but he passes the mark to be someone to marry, so I thought he was fine. Hey, what? This woman, she was a ridiculous wolf in sheep's clothing. On top of that, if anything, there are times that he's annoying because he's way too obsessive. Well, but whenever he calls, I can just brush it off anyway. Seems like he's totally in love with me, which means I can use him however I want. That's why I'm marrying him. You must be joking! I have to tell Paul. As I said that, and I tried to head toward the back of the wedding venue, but... Too bad. I'm not gonna let you through here. If you're gonna try to force your way any more than this, I'm gonna call the police. Ugh, you know, I'm the groom's little sister. But if I were trying to fight here, it wouldn't be good. And it seems like she doesn't think I didn't have my own place. For now, I should back down. All right, fine. We'll leave then. Although, in reality, I was super irritated. Calm down, calm down. My husband and I whispered to each other and came up with a plan, and then said this to her. Well then, we will not be attending, and so, Melissa, if you'll excuse us. Yes, please hurry up and leave. You're making the air around here bad. Melissa had a huge smile on her face like she had won. I had no choice, so in front of everybody, I'll continue to pretend like we get along. Well then, goodbye, you unemployed people. Ugh, she's so irritating until the very end. After this, I'm going to get a full revenge on you, so you better be ready. I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
Why are you apologizing, Paige? You didn't do anything wrong, did you?
You're right, that's true.
So, how are you going to get back at her?
That's going to be for your enjoyment later. ECC. First, I need to let Paul know that that's the kind of person that she is. I tried to call Paul, but just as expected, he was preparing for the wedding, so I couldn't get through. I thought my parents might have arrived early as well, so next I tried calling my mom. Oh my, Paige, you know the wedding is about to start. When are you coming over here? Well, you see, about that, I went there, but they said that there was no seats for us, and Melissa kicked us out of the venue. Huh? What do you mean?
What's the matter? Mom?
From there, my mom put the phone on speaker, and I spoke. When I explained the incident that just happened, the two of them were furious.
That's what she said? I'm gonna go and talk to Melissa right now!
Oh, just wait a minute. I'm going to send you something interesting, so can you wait until after you check that? In return, you need to keep it a secret from Melissa that it's been recorded.
Oh, yeah, okay. I understand.
Well then, I'm gonna hang up for now. I'll contact you later. As she said that, the phone hung up. I tapped a few buttons on my phone and sent them the interesting thing. What? What did I send them? The conversation with Melissa earlier, of course. I had recorded it. Secretly. Melissa, you better be ready. When I grinned, Richard was looking at me like he was curious and excited. We waited to hear from them, and the two of us were taking a stroll around the wedding venue. But then, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I immediately connected with Paul from Richard's cell phone, and then I had him invite the other family members, and I told them to put the phone on speaker and stay quiet while they listened. After I had them on standby from that side, then I answered the phone. Yes? Oh, you finally answered! The voice that I heard was Melissa's voice. It's not her normal phone number, so she was calling from another phone? Which must mean she has two phones? Interesting. Seems like this woman still has some other things she's hiding. I immediately knew that was the case, and that's why I decided to put on an act and talk to her for now. Hey, I've been calling you this whole time. Why didn't you answer immediately? Oh my, I'm sorry. The phone was on silent mode. So, what did you want from me? Right. About what happened earlier, I was gonna apologize. Why now? I have no intention of getting along with you anyway. Well, that's because you didn't tell me anything. Huh? I never could have imagined that you were the CEO of the company that produced such a famous game. Actually, I developed all kinds of games, and they get released all over the world. I'm famous to the point that almost everybody around the world knows my name, but I don't show my face, so not a lot of people know what I look like. I make sure that everything is done online, so that's why I never have to leave the house and I can completely do my job remotely. Of course, I have quite a decent income, and I'm really grateful that I get to earn money doing the thing that I love to do. And recently, work had become so busy that I asked Richard to help around the house to become a house husband, even though I feel bad that I've completely left all the chores to him. Well, but Richard is better than me at cleaning and cooking, and I'm lucky that he says he enjoys being a house husband. If you had told me properly, I would have welcomed you properly. Huh? She didn't seem sorry at all, and I was over her attitude. Well, you know, the fact that you're CEO must mean you've got quite a lot, don't you? Huh? What are you talking about? You know what I mean. You're earning a lot of money, aren't you? Yeah, well, I am earning quite a lot. Why do you ask? Well, you see, I totally thought you were poor, so... But if you have money, well, that's a different story. I knew it. Money. Well then, why don't I try putting on an act for a little longer? Yeah, well, I do think I'm earning about 3 times what Paul makes. But you know, Paul doesn't seem like he's that interested in money or anything like that, even though I think Paul could care a little more about money and work harder to earn more. I know, right? That's exactly it. I totally agree. Yeah, Melissa, I was worried if Paul's earnings were going to be enough for you. Obviously, they're not going to be enough for me because there's so much stuff that I want, and I want to have more fun too. That's what I thought, because you're so beautiful, Melissa. But Paul, you know, I feel like he might be a little boring for you. Oh my gosh, seems like you're someone that gets it more than I thought, but you're right. Even though I was born as a pretty girl, if I have to keep dealing with these boring guys, I'm wasting my life. I knew it, that all women really do think this way. Well then, Melissa, could it be? Are you the same as me and... What? You also go to escort lounges? Yes, that's right. Yep, she said it. But with this, maybe she's also in debt? Melissa, how are you figuring out the money for it? I actually keep it a secret from my husband and... Me too! I'm also in debt, but it's gotten a little bit out of hand, so I didn't know what to do, so I wanted to talk to you about that. Talk to me? You know how we both meet with escorts as a secret? But I don't have any money. But you have a lot of money, right? So you know, can you just let me borrow a little money? Obviously, there's no way I'd do that. I've never been to an escort lounge, and I don't have any debt either. She was set up by me, and she's exposing all kinds of things right now. But of course, I am recording all of this. Hey, come on. Just a little bit is okay. Let me borrow some money. The escort that I am obsessed with right now said he wanted me to buy him a new watch. Goodbye. I didn't want to hear her voice any further than that, so I just hung up the phone. Paul, who was listening on Richard's phone, he was beyond furious.
Paige, I feel so sorry to everybody who gathered here today, but I'm gonna cancel the wedding.
I think that's the best. And what about Mom?
Oh, she's already not here anymore. She went to go take care of Melissa. She said that she was gonna take her down.
Oh dear. Well, that's something to celebrate. Well then, Richard and I will prepare the police report for her marriage scam.
Yeah, I'm counting on you. I'm gonna talk to my lawyer friend who's here for the wedding about the settlement fee.
Actually, Richard is a former police officer. He contacted his former colleague and he prepared everything from us. And from there, Melissa's life took a turn almost like the movies. Of course, the wedding was canceled, and to everybody that came for the wedding, the gifts were returned and Paul apologized. He had everybody enjoy the food, and they all left after making it like a dinner party. Of course, all of the wedding fees were going to be collected from Melissa. Her parents were also beyond furious. They said that they would make her go further into debt to pay it, and that they were going to disown her. Paul sued Melissa for scamming him, and on top of that, he collected a settlement fee for the destruction of the engagement. Even though Melissa was already in debt, she fell even further into debt. Apparently, she had no choice anymore but to borrow money from suspicious places. And these days, she's working a job morning until night that was introduced by them. And well, she probably won't be able to get out of there for the rest of her life. According to the lawyer, she had been cheating with other married men besides the escort, and those situations were also blowing up. And apparently, the wife that was in that situation is pretty angry, and she is in a rough situation. But she better take that. Well, but even still, thank goodness it was before the marriage certificate was submitted. Seriously. But you know, maybe another strange woman is going to try to come near Paul again. And when that time comes, it'll be my time to jump in. Even though I thought I was finally going to be relieved of these duties. My brother really is a handful. Someday I hope that man meets someone truly good that I can finally accept.
Thank you for watching! What kind of crazy people will we get to see next? Stay tuned for more!